Welcome back to Book Time with Ryan. I am Ryan. And before I talk about books today, my 3-year-old daughter had her birthday yesterday. And look at her, she's so sweet. Noelia turned 3 yesterday. She's had 2 out of 3 birthdays during the pandemic, which means that she hasn't really been able to have big birthdays. And her first birthday, no one really remembers her first birthday, I think. So, but she was really sweet. She said it was her best birthday ever, even though it was just um, 3 of us, her, my wife, and me. But maybe next year. Next year, maybe we'll have a big one. I think we're saving up for a really big one now because she needs to have a very fun birthday party here at some point. So happy birthday, Noelia. Today I'm going to briefly review Song of Kali or Kali. If you know how to pronounce Kali, it's set in India, so I don't know if it's Hindu word or what, but I just finished that yesterday, the day before, and then I started Gilbert Geis's White Collar and Corporate Crime. Look at this. This is my favorite bookmark. This is from the first year Noelia was alive, from my wife, but it says, looking forward to all of our adventures together. I love you, Daddy, and her birthday. That's my favorite thing. It's leather. I use it all the time. I'm always scared I'm going to lose it when I'm on a train using it, but since I haven't been going anywhere, it's not so scary at home to lose your bookmark. You'll find it again. So I will talk about those 2 books, and then I got a new book from Taschen. Look at that. That is pretty. It's weird. That's a weird book. It's Bosch. That's the long S, Bosch. Old school S's. All right, so Song of Kali. And there's no kids' books today because I can't find What is Poop. And that's the one I want to talk about. I also want to include a book that I read to Noelia, the first book I've ever read to Noelia, which is also the book that I'm reading in my picture on my channel. I think it's called You Were Made for Me. So I used to get really emotional reading it. Maybe I don't anymore. I don't know. But it's nice to read with her, and she really likes it. But it's up in her room, and she's going to sleep. So, Song of Kali, it's about this guy named Bobby. Bobby and his wife. His wife is Indian, although she grew up in London, I think, or the UK. She was educated there. He's American. And he's a journalist. Editor. He's also a poetry. He's a poet. A poetry writer, also known as a poet. So he gets an assignment. I think it's maybe freelance. I don't know. Because he works for this magazine, Harper. And he goes to Calcutta, and he's trying to... I don't know if these are spoilers. I don't know how people talk about books without it being a spoiler. So this may be spoilers if you don't want to read this book. I don't know. Maybe I can do it spoiler free. It's set in Calcutta, India. It was written in 1985, so there are at least one city name that has since changed. Bombay is now Mumbai, but in 85 it was still called Bombay. So it's set in Calcutta, which is a very poor city, large poor city with huge population, and it really goes into a religious sect that worships a goddess named Kali, who is a very violent goddess. She's very sexual. She's naked, and she has 4 arms and 2 legs, fangs, and she really, from the story in it, talking about where she came from, she was created by the gods to fight this other creature on Earth, but they were all afraid of her because she's so extreme. So it talks about this group that worships her, and there's also human sacrifice, and it really goes into the main character, Bobby, is looking for a poet named M. Das, who had died, people thought had died, but there were rumors that he was back and he was writing a new manuscript, and they were trying to track him down to find it. So, because it was going to be a all expense paid assignment, Bobby took his wife and their relatively newborn daughter Victoria to Calcutta. His wife is, I think I said this, she's Indian. She was born in India and moved when she was 7. And the idea is that she can help translate Bengali, but she doesn't actually know Bengali. She knows Hindi. So, they have some things happen. I don't want to give away too much. Essentially, he eventually has to deal with this group, and he is torn between getting more information about this very interesting underground religion that people are afraid of, and protecting his family. In 85, and maybe the same, I don't actually know much about India, but at least then, it wasn't that far removed from wars between Hindu and Muslim people in India, and then what would become Pakistan. And so there's a lot of violence, and they were kind of coming out of that when this book took place. I liked it. I don't think it was as developed as his later novel. A lot of his later novels, like his novels, Dan Simmons, are layer upon layer upon layer. I love his books. This didn't have that. Maybe it was scarier because it really, I mean, there's some supernatural stuff in it, but also it kind of applies to today and kind of the evil we see in the world, and is that evil random, or is it being perpetrated by some spirit or God or larger power? And I think because Bobby, the main character, is really based in Western history. I mean, he's from the United States. That's what he knows. His wife is kind of a mix of both, educated in the UK but born in India, and I think gone long enough from India that she's familiar but not totally involved with a lot of India's ways of doing things. It ends pretty dark in some way. I think, like, actually it ends with hope, but an acknowledgement that there's also darkness. And I think the message, the thing I took away from the book was there's darkness all around us. It's creeping in, but there's always hope. And that's kind of what Bobby's outlook was. I think that's what his wife's outlook was, and they endured some pretty rough stuff during the book. But in the end, I think they kind of kept their faith that there's goodness in the world, and but they have to keep their guard up against kind of the evil coming in. So I recommend it. I think I gave it 5 stars. I liked it a lot. There's something that Dan Simmons does where he can really suck you in, and and keep you believing that what you're reading could happen in real life, and kind of keeps your hair standing on end while you're reading it. So this was maybe his first novel. So there is some of, I think there's some early growth that's going on when he's writing this, because there are some of the other books he wrote I liked more, but they're also some of my favorite books. So it's hard to measure up to somebody's favorite books, even if you're the same author. So I liked it. If you haven't read it, read it. It was written in 1985, but it's really not that dated, especially if you're not aware of anything about India, which is kind of where I fall into it. I don't know how to, besides the names of the cities, I don't really know how to date changes in India. So, the book I'm reading now, Gilbert Geis's White Collar and Corporate Crime. It's very short. It's 123 pages, 124 pages. I like this book so far. I said in one of my earlier videos that Gil Geis, was Canadian. He's not. I was wrong. Sorry, Canadians. Um, he is American. But he writes this book is a lot about an author I really liked, and a rare book that I have by Edwin Sutherland. So he goes into Edwin Sutherland quite a bit. Like the book is basically about Edwin Sutherland, which is why I bought it. I think I'll probably finish this tomorrow. But Gilbert Geis, My Calling Corporate Crime. Gilbert Geis is no longer alive, but he leaves quite the impression in the criminology world. So I enjoy it. I've enjoyed it so far, and there are some funny parts in it too. I wish I would have learned about him beforehand. I'm wearing a shirt for a Uruguayan soccer team called Peñarol. They're playing right now in Copa Sudamericana, and they are currently winning 2-0 against Corinthians, a Brazilian team. So that's cool. So the other book I got, in an earlier video I talked about the book Libraries, or World's Most Beautiful Libraries, from Taschen. Taschen's it's a German book company. It's a family company. They make pretty large books, like coffee table, some huge books. This book is considered extra large. The Libraries book, 16 pounds, or almost 17 pounds. Huge book. And it's 16 inches tall, I think. This one's not quite as big as that, but they do a really good job with their printing. They print in Germany. They're out of Cologne. And they also have printing operations out of Milan, Italy. I don't know which one this came from. Libraries was printed in Milan. There are a number of stores in the United States, and there are other stores throughout the world. So, but they make very cool stuff. So this is Bosch. He's a 1500 an artist from the Netherlands from the 1500s. And he really, let's see if I can, I still don't have the directions down. If I could turn my camera into a mirrored effect, then I think I'd be able to manipulate this better, but I still haven't figured out how to do much with my camera. So this really goes over a lot of his art. He's really imitated. So there aren't a lot of works that are guaranteed to be originals that he's done, but this book is kind of the ultimate. It's the complete works. Each page, let's see if I can kind of do this in a way where I can hold the book and turn some pages. All right, so yeah, that's not bad. This book has some it's actually there's some very creepy stuff going on in this book. It's religious, but it's, I'm gonna find a good picture. So basically the book is a number of different pieces of art that Bosch did in the 1500s, and then it kind of breaks down the pieces of art in parts and describes what's going on. This might be kind of here's an example. Look how I don't know what's going on in this yet. This guy has notes on his butt, and there's some kind of very creepy beast here. And there's a lot of very. Oh, here we go. Here's some more of the. This looks like a scene from the Garden of Eden. I don't 100% know what's going. I mean, I know what happened in Eden, but this may be God. I think this is like man and woman being taken from man, and then them being tested by the serpent, who's in the tree of knowledge, and then them hiding because they realize they're naked, and then I think maybe these are scenes from hell. I don't know. I don't know enough. I haven't read enough yet, but there's very, very weird stuff going on in these pictures. So that's going on here, and then what you'll have in other parts of the book or they will break down different parts of photograph or of the art and describe what's going on. That's strange. This thing's about 10 pounds. Feels really nice. It's like, see, I don't know what's going on. They're like cutting into this guy's head. They might be doing some kind of surgery. Actually, it looks like they're cutting into their skulls. So, see, it's just very, very creepy, old, 500-year-old art. But I don't know enough about it yet. So I am looking forward to reading this against Bosch. Bosch is from the Netherlands. He's a Dutch artist from the 1500s, and these are the complete works. And I think it looks like it's probably annotated by Stefan Fischer, who I believe is German, but he may not be. I don't know. Anyway, so that's the new book. Like these kinds of books, it's really not something I would read straight through, but it's something I'd like to sit down and take some time to read. So that is it today. I'm reading Geis again, White Collar and Corporate Crime. I'm not that far into it, but a lot of this is endnotes, so it's really, I think I'm a fourth of the way through, 25%. And then after this, I'm going to read Agent M, and I did mention that I got Black or Dark Matter, so I want to read that, but I think it's going to be Agent M, and then this economics book that it's very dry. I'm going to get through it, but I need to get it. I'm not going to not finish it, but it's not going to be interesting. It's not interesting to me, and it's not going to be interesting to you. But after that, then I'll probably either do Dark Matter or Don Winslow's Broken. So I'm going to be out of town for a little bit. I'm going to bring my stuff so I can record a video outside near the water. Hopefully that'll be a really nice time with sunlight during the day. But that is it for this one. No little kid's book. I guess the Bosch is kind of close to a little kid book. And Diane, if you're watching this, thank you for getting caught up on watching my videos. My wife, who I've asked to like all my videos, because it's been a very slow go for my channel. I have 15 subscribers. Most of them I think I know in real life. And a lot of them probably aren't really watching that often. They just did it out of charity. So thank you for doing that. If you have any ideas, let me know. And I look forward to letting you know how... I don't know how much I'm going to do a review for White Collar and Corporate Crime. I mean, it's like, what are you going to... I'm going to talk about criminology, essentially. There's not a whole lot to say about this book. This book is a very important work in this area, but if you're not interested in white collar crime, you're not going to get really much out of the book. So, thanks again for joining me, and if you have any suggestions, any feedback, let me know. If you're from the Netherlands and you know much about Bosch, cool. There's the long S that went out of style in the 1700s. So, thanks. And I learned about the long S from House of Leaves. And I'm assuming in House of Leaves, the way they talked about the long S was accurate, but I don't know. The other one's, I think, the rounded S, which is what we're used to now. But it sounds like it was kind of killed off by Benjamin Franklin. So I don't know if that's true. That's what House of Leaves said. So again, thanks for coming. Thanks for joining me again. And I look forward to talking to you next time.